the TeaCosyFolk vlog for December, and it's the last one before Christmas. Woo! And I'm a bit late, but I kind of thought, well, now I am a bit late, I may as well leave it a bit later, because then I can wish you all a happy Christmas. So, Merry Christmas! Anyway, I'm going to take off my new specs. I bet you didn't realise it was me under there. And if you've been knitting along with the TeaCosyFolk calendar for 2025, you'll have knitted this little fella for December. And he's a little elf who's stuck in a Christmas pudding. And he's really cute, and he fits a chocolate orange. Oh, I've got him on one of those, you know, the rice bag versions. But yeah, he fits a chocolate orange and he looks like a Christmas pudding. And what's quite nice, because he's got long legs, you know, they can hang off the table, and he's quite funny. But it's really nice for Christmas, and he's in the 2025 calendar. So if you bought the calendar, that's what you'll be knitting. And next year, we're not doing the chocolate orange calendar. We're going to do a subscription instead. So you'll still get 12 patterns for chocolate orange cozies, but they'll be sent to you digitally. So you'll get a little pattern turn up on the 1st of each month. And for January, it will be the giraffe in a scarf. And there he is. I thought he was appropriate because he's wearing a scarf. I thought, you know, obviously it's cold, he wants to keep warm. And he fits onto a Terry's chocolate orange. And although it's got spots and it looks like colour work, it's not actually colour work. It's, you knit them like stripes with slipped stitches, and that way you get the spotty effect, which, you know, that's what giraffes have, don't they? So that's the giraffe in a scarf, and if you want to knit him, he will be he'll be the first pattern of the 2026 subscription. I'll put the details down below. You don't have to join the subscription. If you want to, you know, later on in January, this pattern will be released as a standalone pattern, and that will happen with all the patterns. So on the 1st of the month, the subscription get their pattern first. And if you're not part of the subscription, you have to wait till later on in the month, and then it'll be released as a standalone pattern. But all the details, I'll put them down below. You can go and have a look, check it out and see what you think. Also coming up, I wanted to show you this. It's the Simply Knitting magazine. I don't think it's supposed to be in the shops till, I don't know, next week sometime. I suppose because it's close to Christmas, they've posted them out early because, you know, the Royal Mail goes bonkers, doesn't it? But yeah, so this is the next Simply Knitting magazine. I can't remember the issue number. I can't see without my specs. I'll check and write it down below. But it's the Simply Knitting magazine, and this is the little freebie you get with it. So you've got a little knitting pattern booklet, and oh, these are nice. Look, little woolly hats, and they go over the points of your knitting needles, so you can put your knitting needles in a bag and put your hand in and not stab yourself. They're useful. But so in this magazine, there is a tea cozy, and it's one of my designs. It's a lunar landing tea cozy it's to celebrate the first woman on the moon, because NASA's going to send a woman to the moon early next year, and I think the date keeps changing. It's January, February, and March sort of time. And I made a little tea cozy to celebrate. So the tea cozy, oh, I've got a little video. I'll put the video down below. But it's a little moon, and on the moon there's craters, you know, like you would expect. And that part, the moon bit, fits the teapot, and then on top there is a little rocket that's pink, and a little pink flag, you know, just to celebrate women's achievements, because it's amazing. So yeah, so there's that. But the craters on the main tea cozy are knitted in, so there's no sewing on. It's all done with cable stitches. So it's really good actually, and it looks really fab. And they make little circles, and it looks really cute. So get the Simply Knitting magazine, and you'll have something to knit over Christmas, and you'll be ready. So whatever month they decide to launch a woman on the moon, you will have your tea cozy ready to celebrate with a celebratory cup of tea. Another thing I wanted to show you was the Christmas tree. I entered into the local Christmas tree festival. Now, I can't take you and show you because it's down at the local church, but I took some photos. So I've got the photos to show you and I'm going to show them to you now. And so this tea cozy, well, it's not a tea cozy, it's just a Christmas tree, but the rules of the festival are that they have to be related to your, I don't know, your youth group or your community group or your work, or, you know, so something to do with you, to say something about you. And obviously I'm a knitting pattern designer, so I made my tree out of printed off pages of knitting patterns, and it, you know, because paper doesn't, I don't know, you can't sculpt it very much, so it's all like cone shapes. So, and it covers a teapot and it's cones, and then inside the paper parts I've put festive light so it lights up. So anyway, you can see what it looks like. Hubby said it looked a bit Madonna inspired, and I suppose it does a little bit, but that's my Christmas tree. And I wanted to show you, because I mentioned it before, that I got to make one for the festival. So that's my Christmas tree for the Christmas Tree Festival, which is happening locally. But you know, there's Christmas tree festivals up and down the country everywhere. So go along and have a look. There's always one that's a knit and natter group inspired one. So they're really nice, aren't they? And they're good for inspiration. This was launched today, and this is the Yule Goat Tea Cosy. And it's a Scandinavian tradition. And these little Yule goats are usually made, you know, a bit like corn dollies out of straw, and it's, you know, for the last sheaf from the harvest, and you make a little Yule goat. And the Yule goat, they think, was perhaps one of Thor's goats that pulled his chariot along, but also they say that the Yule goat actually was the pre-runner to Santa, and it was the Yule goat who brought presents, which is just fabulous, isn't it? So I thought, oh, I want to make a Yule goat. And he's just lovely, isn't he? You know, and if you've seen the straw ones, they have a little tail that sticks up, and the horns are braided and plaited. And I've made a braided look on his horns, and it's done with cable stitches. And it's really easy. I've made a video. Just, there's only 4 rows to the pattern, so it's super easy. And it shows you how to do the braids for his horns. And that's the only tricky bit there is, really. That's it. And you make this fabulous goat, and he's just lovely, and he's bright, and he's so different, you know, because usually at Christmas it's elves and Santas and Christmas trees, and it's just nice to have something a bit different, isn't it? And he's fabulous, isn't he? I love him. I really do like him, and I love the colours. And I just think he's really cool. So if you want to knit one, he's already on the website, because he was launched on the website today. So you can go along and download your copy, and you can have a Yule goat on your teapot too. What I'm working on at the moment is the Titanic Tea Cosy, and this is as far as I've got. I feel like I've been working on it for ages and I've not got very far, because I suppose because the time of year, you know, your life takes over, doesn't it? And you get pulled this way and that, and you've got to do lots of things. There's lots of things I've been going to and enjoying myself, and extra work, putting trimmings up and getting presents ready and all that. It's just, so I've not got very far with it. But look, this is my Titanic Tea Cosy, and there's like a plinth at the bottom with Titanic written on it, and this is knitted in. I'll make a video to show you how to do it. It's not as bad as what it seems, and it's only 4 rows. So so there's the plinth, and then above that, this is my C, and it's wavy, and I've got some structural support I'm going to put under there, because I don't like this knobbly bit on the top. So I'm going to flatten that off a bit, so I've got room to put my iceberg and my sinking ship. But that's it. That's as far as I've got with it at the moment. So watch this space, and it should be ready in January. with all that time in January, with all the old films on, I'm sure I'm going to get that finished. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Another tea cosy that's been launched today was the Blue-Footed Booby Tea Cosy. You might remember it. It was in Simply Knitting magazine about 7 months ago. So what was that? I don't know. The late spring of this year it must have been. And now you can download it as a digital copy from the website. And it's a lovely booby. I'll put the video down below so you can see while I natter at you. So he's a lovely tea cosy. He's got bright blue feet. His plumage on his neck and head are two colours. They are brown and cream, and it gives that mock-hoodie look that their plumage has. But it's really easy because you use one strand of cream and one strand of brown. Nothing clever, and it just makes the pattern itself, which is brilliant. And it's really comical. They're funny birds, aren't they? And I think booby means comic or mimic or something. It's, you know, so obviously people have always thought they're quite funny birds. And it's not just that they've got bright blue feet and a funny name. It's also because they're, I don't know, their expressions on their face, they're just funny, aren't they? Anyway, this is a lovely Blue-Footed Booby tea cosy, and he's on the website now. So if you want to knit one, you can download your copy today. And now, as promised, it's time for this month's tip. And this month's tip is the plaiting for the horns on the Yule Goat. It's not plaiting really, it's cable work, but I thought the tip will be to show you how to do this, because I just want to show you how easy it is, because there's 4 rows of pattern, but only 2 of those rows have the cable stitch on, and it only affects 6 stitches in the row. So it's really not a lot. And I think, you know, lots of people are scared of cabling before they try it. And, you know, even I was scared of cabling. It was like, oh, and it is a bit of intrepidation. It's like, oh my word, there's another knitting needle involved. Oh, and it just feels really scary. But I think that's because you overthink it and your mind builds it up into something much bigger than it is. And it's so easy. And I want to show you how to do it, because you're going to think, why was I worried? And you're going to want to have a go. So, and I'll write the pattern parts down below as well. You know, the rows. So after you've seen the video, you can have a go, you know, and you can try it and see how you get on. And if you find it easy as well, well, you'll be able to buy the tea cosy pattern and knit the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you the tip, and here we go. So this is my Yule Goat horn, and as you can see, look, it looks plaited, so it's braided, and the braids are made using cable stitches. And really, cable stitches, you know, the word cable, it means it looks like a cable, but when you're actually doing it, it just means that you are knitting the stitches in a different order than they appear on the needle. That's what it is in, you know, in its simplistic form. And the pattern says that you need a cable needle, and I always just use a double pointed needle, and this is one that I use for sock making. And yeah, it's just a double pointed needle, so it just means there's a point on both ends, because you need to slide the stitches on one way and then knit them off the other end. So you need points on both ends. And it might seem scary and daunting. You think you're going to lose your stitches, but you're not. It's fine, it's fine. So I'm just going to show you the pattern for these stitches. I've got a couple of repeats left to do. So first, it's always best to get the yarn off the ball before you begin, because you know, if your hand is having to pull the yarn and make the stitches, it affects the tension. So pull some yarn off first. You know, Balls of wool, they're not balls really, are they, anymore? They don't roll freely like a hand wound ball. You know, they kind of sit on one side. You have to give them a bit of a tug. So I like to get some yarn off first so that it doesn't affect my tension when I'm knitting. Right, so knit 2. And now comes the first of the cable stitches. And it's cable 6 forward. So you take the first 3 stitches onto the cable needle. There they are, they're on the cable needle, and that's what the C stands for, cable. And then the 6 is how many stitches it affects. So it's affecting 6 stitches, and the F means forward. So you have to hold the stitches in front of the work. And here I like to stab it into my knitting that's already there, and that holds that needle for me. It's not going anywhere and the stitches won't slide off. And now you knit the next 3 stitches just ordinary like you normally would. It's a bit awkward because there's a big needle sticking up, but you just knit the 3 stitches. See, so that's affected the order that you've knitted them in. And now we knit the next 3 stitches off this needle. So bring the needle round. It's better if you can keep the work looser because the twist in the knitting makes it a bit tighter. And then you knit those 3. We don't need the cable needle again for a while. And then we knit to the end. See, so that was quite easy. It's just ordinary knitting. You're just changing the order. And you can see that's pulled that part over there. And all the return rows are purled. Super easy. People are a bit scared of cable stitches, and I suppose it's just because it's something new and a bit different, and it seems scary, but it's really not. It's really easy, and it, you know, it creates lovely designs. So that's that. And now we move on to the next row, which is knit 5. And then it's cable 6 back. So we take the first 3 stitches and we hold them at the back of the work. So that's behind now. So when I come along and I knit the next 3 stitches, changing the order that they've been knitted in, it pulls it across in front of those 3 stitches, and then you knit those 3. We don't need the cable needle for a while. Knit to the end. And those 4 rows have done this part and this part to create, you know, another part of the braid. I'll show you the repeat once more. So purl the return rows. I do love cables. I think they look really Christmassy, don't they? And warm, I suppose, because, you know, Christmas jumpers often have cable work on them, don't they? And they do look a bit Christmassy. Right, here we go. So knit 2. And then we get the cable needle. Slide 3 onto the cable needle. Knit the next 3. and then knit the ones on the cable needle. The nice thing is they're really short rows. So, oh, I'm about losing that one. So they don't take long to do because they're short. Knit to the end and return. Oh, I'm dropping everything. You know, so if the cable on this pattern is putting you off knitting the tea cosy, you could have a little go before, you know. I'll write these 4 rows on in the comments down below, and then you could have a little try before you buy, you know, and see how you get on with the cabling, because there's only this little bit of cabling on his horns and on his tail, and they're it's the same stitches. Knit 5, then it's the cable. So you take 3 stitches, hold them at the back of the work this time, knit the next 3, and then knit the 3 on the needle, and knit to the end. That's it, and that's another 2 parts done. So it looks amazing, and you saw how simple it was. You know, it's just changing the order that you knit the stitches, that's all it is, and changing the direction of this knitting just by holding it at the front or at the back. It's really easy. So, you know, have a go. And I'll put those 4 rows down below so you can try it out and see how you get on with it. But that's today's tip. Now, I showed you this last month. I was still making it at that time, but this is the partridge in a pear tree, and it's all finished. And there's a fat little partridge. I think all birds look fat in the winter, don't they? Because they fluff out to keep warm. And this is my fat little partridge, and he's in a tree. And the base is made out of a kitchen, you know, the kitchen paper holders. It's a wooden kitchen paper holder up to this point, and then above it is, you know, the polystyrene wreaths, you know, the round circles, and then lots of people use them for making wreaths, but this one's actually circular all the way around. It's not got, some of them have a flat back and this one's not. I can put the links down below to show you where I got mine from, and then you can get the same thing. But these are my little pears, and this is my little partridge, and I just think it's so cute, very Christmassy, instantly recognisable. People just know it, don't they? Because it's such an old carol. So anyway, it's on the website now, so if you want to knit your own partridge in a pear tree, you can do, because he's there, he's waiting for you. So that is my partridge in a pear tree, and that's all I've got to show you this year. Doesn't that sound funny? I haven't got any more to show you this year. I will show you some more next year, and I've got lots of ideas for next year. You want to see my calendar, it's full of ideas. It's chock-a-block. Every month there's things in, things I want to design and make. So there'll be lots of tea cozies, chocolate orange cozies, and other things as well. And I'm hoping I'll be in the Simply Knitting magazine a few more times, so keep a look out there, because there'll be more designs going in. So, and that'll be it then, till next year. And I hope you have a marvellous Christmas. I hope it's wonderful. I hope you get knitting things under that Christmas tree. Anything to do with knitting's lovely, isn't it? A nice big sack full of wool, that'd be amazing. and I hope you have a great Christmas. And thank you so much for your support over the year, watching my vlogs and, you know, liking posts and liking videos and also buying my knitting patterns. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the new year. Merry Christmas!